Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. ChatGPT has just had an update as of 30th of January 2023, and the big thing that has been added is maths functionality, and this is something that I wanted to test out. If you had tried doing anything maths related previously, ChatGPT would tell you that it is a language learning model and that it just wouldn't try and even give you an answer. So now if we start off with something really simple, so what is 2 plus 3? And I think previously it could do some basic maths like this. But what would happen is that if you came along and you said, my cat says it's actually 7, previously ChatGPT would go, oh, I'm very sorry about that. Yes, 2 plus 3 is definitely 7. Whereas now it tells us cats are not known for their mathematical abilities, so it's possible that your cat is mistaken. So nice work there, ChatGPT. So let's go a little bit more complex. Let's give it some numbers, and I want to know the correlation between these two sets of numbers. I've picked them fairly intentionally to be a nice easy one that you and I can look at and see that there is a perfect negative correlation between those two sets of numbers. And here ChatGPT, whereas previously it would have given us something about it not being language and not maths, it correctly got the correlation of -1 and then explained it to us as well. So this is pretty impressive. If you are an educator, you are probably thinking one of two things, maybe both. One is, this is pretty scary because that was a homework question and now I can just do homework. Alternatively, though, we can say, well, that's amazing. We can get this more or less kind of helping to tutor students. We can get them thinking about problems, putting them in, looking at solutions. It's not perfect. It does make mistakes. So we can really be using it as an educational tool. So the final one that I thought I would check is maybe another step up in complexity. And so I was going to use one of my own problems, but I thought I would grab one of these. So thanks to Colorado State, we've got some normal distribution problems, and I'm just going to grab one of those and let's see how it goes with this. So this is a normal distribution problem. This is something you might get in either, depending on where you're doing your education, maybe final year of high school. For me, it was final year of high school. Or first year of university. In a first year university statistics course, you might see something like this. So GMAT, roughly normally distributed. We've got a mean and a standard deviation. If you have done these problems before, you probably have a rough idea of the figure we should get. So let's see how ChatGPT goes with this. Correctly identifies our normalization. So Z equals x minus mu over sigma. It takes the numbers and then, interestingly, negative 0.25, it's actually negative 0.24107. So it was actually off, and I find this quite interesting. It shows that it is still it's not just doing a calculation here, and so this is where we've got to be really pretty careful. I tried this one earlier, and it actually gave me negative 0.23, so it has actually changed this, and so let's go and give it a correction and see what it does. Okay, so we're going to tell it it's actually negative 0.24. What does it have to say about that? My mistake, you are correct. So I didn't add the my cat thinks. We just put that in. And then it goes and plugs in negative 0.24 instead of 0.25. And ends up with this figure of 60%. Compare that. Still a fraction off. What's going on? Normal distribution table, negative 0.24 is approximately. Okay, so quickly checked on what that should be, and it should be 0.5948 or thereabouts, which is what they had over here. I'm going to add in the my cat says just to see how it reacts to that, because this time our cat is actually correct. So let's see if it gets agitated about that. So I just agreed. So this has been quite an interesting little exercise. We can see that the approach that it took for solving this problem was exactly correct. It identified it as a normal distribution problem, used the correct formula, but somehow messed up the computation of that formula. It was in the right ballpark for its normal distribution value. But again, just a fraction off. I guess for those of you that teach this kind of content, you can maybe breathe a brief sigh of relief. I would imagine that as it learns more, these little errors will start to disappear. But the thing that I really do like, and I think is very exciting, is the fact that it correctly identified what the problem was and the approach to solving. Even though the numbers weren't quite right, it did the right steps. So that is something for you to have a try out. Let me know in the comments, once you have had a go, what kind of maths problems did you give to ChatGPT and how did it do? Overall, the ones that I've tried, it's been pretty good. Not perfect, but it can now do this in addition to all those amazing language type writing and creating and summarizing and things like that people have been working with previously. So that's it for the video for today. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully it was of interest to you. If it was, please hit subscribe, please like the video, and I will be back soon with more stats, research, AI, and other random stuff.